Welcome everybody to another class. However, it is Monday. I'm usually saying that on a Friday because I teach on Fridays every Friday at 3 o'clock. But this is a special class, right? It's all about vision boards. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It is December 11th, kind of at the beginning of the month. But this class is all about setting us up for success in 2024. So if you've never been to a vision board class or if you've never done one, don't worry about it. We're going to kind of explain things, walk you through it. Our presenters tonight are our special guest, Beth and Ryan Phillips. So let me pin them so they could be on everybody's main screen. Thank you guys for joining us. We know that you guys are Blue Diamond upline. You live in Idaho. I don't think there's very much more to say. Everybody here knows you guys. We are so excited to hear what you both have to say about vision boards, and we are looking forward to getting inspired and pulling out our supplies and getting ready to put stuff on our boards. So take it away.
Okay, I'm just trying to adjust my screen so I can see all of you. Let's see. It's not working for me. That's okay. All right, so welcome everyone. I know we're gonna have some new people on tonight. So if you don't mind, just pop in the chat where you're from and how long you've been with doTERRA, and then we'll get started. What's that? Oh, we are just laughing, you guys. It's hilarious. When you go and try to do big things, there's going to be some obstacles that get thrown in your way. I can't even tell you everything that's happened today, like wild things that never happen, including right now, gallery view on my thing is not working. It always works. My printer didn't work today.
You think it's because I have you pinned?
I don't know. I don't know why that would affect my
pin.
Did you take it off?
Yeah, I took it off.
Okay. No. Still not? No idea. Okay, that's all right. Okay, let me go check the chat. I'm telling you, can't make this stuff up. That's what happens. That's why I know how much energy we're going to move tonight because of all the obstacles that we've encountered today. I just know it has to be true because it's just wild things. Okay, we got San Antonio, Texas, 2 years in the business. Santa Clarita, Southern California, San Diego, California, Houston, 3 years since 2017, 11 years, Texas. Okay, cool. All right, so how many of you guys have done vision boards before? Raise your hand. Might have to do the virtual one so I can actually see. Okay, perfect. Okay, so you know the concept, and we're going to walk through that in a little bit, hopefully maybe in a different way to kind of jog up some feelings that you can incorporate into your board that you haven't done before. But one of the things I wanted to share with you is the importance of what we're about to do. So they did a study on vision boards, and what that study showed is that 82% of small business owners who did vision boards said that they accomplished over half of their goals that year. That's 82% across the board. I think it was 1,100 small business owners they interviewed, and 82% saw half of their goals come to reality because of the vision board. They credited that vision board. So as you're thinking about what's going to go on these boards, these are for your life. These can be 100% all about you. This is the one space in your life that this gets to be all about you, and it's 100% okay. So keep that in mind. You can be thinking of family, you can be thinking of friends, but you can also just be putting something together for yourself. That's the beauty of these boards. As you know, I just returned from the Bloom Presidential Summit in Santa Barbara, California. And I love when timing lines up. And as I was sitting there, I was just like, the timing of this could not be more perfect. So we've all been living through a chaotic last few years. And every single business on the planet has experienced hiccups, and they've had to pivot and reinvent themselves and figure out new ways of doing things like on the fly because stuff changed overnight. And the feeling I got from that summit that I wanted to bring back and share with you is how much corporate cares and thinks about the field. Emily said that they did a survey recently, and the employees said that they think that Emily cares more about the wellness advocates than the employees. And she said, I do. That's what she told them. She's like, they're the reason that we have like what we have. Like, we have such big missions to do in the world, and it's the wellness advocates out there are the reason that we're getting to see these things happen and the reason we're pushing these new boundaries. So I just wanted you to know how much care, how much thought, how much perseverance, and the tireless effort that corporate puts into everything they do every single day. And they do love their employees too. I'm not saying that. Like, you guys probably got a message, our account managers are out. It's one of the days this week because they're having a party. One of the other departments was posting pictures of their company party the other day. So they do love their employees too, but they love the field, and they want us to know that. So I wanted to convey that from Emily to you. The other thing that she opened up sharing was two things. One was the impact the oils are making in Israel. And so when we know with doTERRA, when you partner with doTERRA, you're not just partnering with an essential oil company. You're not even just partnering with a wellness company or science company. You're partnering with a company who has a massive vision of doing very big things in the world, of doing really big things. And they show up when they're needed, no matter where in the world that is. So they have wellness advocates on the ground in Israel right now who are passing out oils to those in the areas that have been affected. And she said one of the two stories are coming out. One of the stories coming out is the oil that they found works best in their masks is copaiba. So they've been using copaiba in their masks because it helps neutralize the smell as they're digging through the rubble for the bodies. So I just thought that was interesting that was helping them get through that hard task that they have to do, and that they're distributing hope oil to the parents who have missing children. And the parents were just expressing how much it's helping, just console their hearts right now as they're dealing with that. But that's who we are with. This is who we're partnered with. And so I want you to take that vision, because doTERRA's vision is so big. They want to do so much. When they talk about tripling their impact, that's one of those big, crazy goals. And it doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight, but they're not afraid to say that they're going to do it. That's a big thing to say from stage and feel accountable to everybody. And so if you're making these boards, we want you to think that big. We want you to be putting things down there that sound ridiculous, because if 50% of those things come true, then how awesome are you going to feel and how happy are you going to be? So those are the kinds of things that we want you to put on your boards. The other thing that she stressed so emphatically, I wish you could see her face. I mean, you could feel her energy from the stage. She said, I don't care what other companies are saying they sourced from where we are. I promise you they are not. There is no one else who is sourcing oils from where we do, no matter what they say, because doTERRA is working in some of the hardest areas of the world right now. And you could feel the gravity in her voice when she said that. She said, no, we're working in places no one else wants to go. So when you see these little pop-ups on Facebook selling helichrysum for $6, they're not going to these countries and getting these oils, okay? So I know we know that, but sometimes you can just feel inundated with this, and we get questions from our customers. So just know nobody else has what we have, because they are not going to go into these war-torn countries and continue these relationships and work with these farmers to carry this oil out the way doTERRA is. They're just not. Emily did a live with Dr. Hill today. I don't know if you guys saw it on Instagram. They were talking all about frankincense, and it was phenomenal. So I really, really encourage you to watch the replay of that. They were diving into the quality of the oils, and it was so cute. I mean, whenever you get to see Dr. Hill, you know that's a treat, but he was just laying into the importance of quality. And even when some say, we see it all the time. We see that they're 100% pure. We see ads that they source from the same place as doTERRA does. You'll see places that claim to have GMS testing results like we have. And what he said is they can produce a report that looks like the results are so similar to ours. But he's like, the chemistry of the oils is so unique, and it's so important that even if the oil's chemistry looks super similar to ours, like 95% the same, if it's not 100% the same, they can actually make you sick. And so that's what people need to know. And so however we can convey that to people who are looking for a cheap option, you get what you pay for. And so he talked about frankincense and how from other companies, they've done testing, ones that you've seen pop up on ads on Facebook, and the frankincense actually causes an inflammatory response in the body. And we know how important it is to bring inflammation down. Inflammation is the number one cause of disease. So to be using an oil thinking that you're reducing inflammation, you're actually increasing inflammation, like you're actually making yourself sicker. He also talked about copaiba from another company, and they tested it, and the markers in there, how it was affecting the cells in the body is actually going to make people sicker. So just know that you are in the right place, carry that very deeply entrenched into your body, and dig your roots deep with doTERRA, because there is no other place that you want to be. And I guess we just have to keep it thinking that it's flattering that everybody wants to be us, because they do. They want to be the best, but they're not. So you guys are in the right place. Okay. So let me see. Okay. So as you're working on these boards, I want you to start thinking about your dreams. How big of a business do you want to build with doTERRA? And like, think big. How big do you want to go? Because I was in a room with people who were doing big things, you guys. There's so much potential out there if we start getting out with the kind of confidence that we know we should be having, and just shut all the crap off and get out and do what we need to do and help people. And so how big of a business do you want to build with doTERRA? The next 2 years are going to be a major proving ground, not only in direct selling, but in every industry globally. I was just also watching Eric Worre's GoPro that happened last weekend too. It's been a very busy week. And so he was talking about the state of direct selling and just the state of business in general. The next 2 years are going to be a wave. And the good thing is we are with a legacy company. And when he talks about network marketing companies, there's nobody else like doTERRA. And he'll even reference it. He'll mention a company that has had like this crazy long streak that's never been seen in network marketing before. That's us. And that we have products that are going to be around for a lifetime. And we have an ownership team that is going to be around for a lifetime. So even though the next couple of years are going to be chaotic, this is going to be the dividing time. This is going to be the time that some people fall off because it's too hard and they're going to go back to doing something else, and that's fine. And then there's going to be the people who stick through, and then there's going to be the people looking for you, because there's still, I think it's 50 to 60 million people that are looking for a side hustle, that coming out of the pandemic don't want to go back to work and don't want to go work for somebody else. And out of those 50 to 60 million, I think only 3% have landed where they're going to land. The rest are looking. So they're going to be looking for the people who are standing up and saying loud and proud what they're doing, and that they're moving forward, and that they're building a team, and have the kind of conviction that we can have inside of our company. And that's what they're going to be looking to align with, because we know with network marketing, like, so much different than starting your own business from scratch. You don't have to be customer service and sourcing and delivery and accounts payable and receivable and human resources. Like you have to do all that if you're going to start your own business. People don't want to do all that. They think they want to have their own business, but they don't want to do all of that. So we're like that perfect marriage of you can be your own business owner, but you don't have to do everything. We just have to go talk to people about the oils we love and show them how to use them. So we are going to take out our oils now. Hopefully you have some of those oils I posted about. They are Motivate, Melissa, and Blue Tansy. So get those out and we're going to use them. Oh, now I can see you.
Hey, we see everybody. Hey, hi.
Yeah. Oh, Chantal, oh, fun. Okay. All right. And if you guys can turn your cameras on, I don't care if you're pretty, got your makeup on, I don't care if you're in your pajamas, I would love to see you. But do you guys have your oils? Give me a thumbs up if you've got your oils. Okay, and if you don't have Motivate, Melissa, and Blue Tansy, you can use Wild Orange and Peppermint instead of Motivate. You can use Bergamot or Lemongrass instead of Melissa. And you can use Rosemary and Frankincense or Blue Lotus instead of Blue Tansy. So if you've got any of those, you can use them too. All right. So these were the oils that Emily had us do at the retreat. And it was so perfect because I actually had a pretty bad headache that day. I was kind of dehydrated and we were going back into session after lunch. And I was just like, oh, I'm gonna have a hard time focusing because my head hurts. And we went back and these beautiful oils were sitting on the table and we used them and my headache was gone. I was like, this is why we have the oils. We just don't use them enough. Okay, so first one you're gonna do is you're gonna take Melissa on your thumb, put a drop on there, push it up into the roof of your mouth, hold it there for 15 seconds and kind of wiggle it around. And this is fun because I know like it's a more rare oil, so it's a little more pricey. So sometimes we don't use it, but use it. So this is what Melissa is. Melissa is the oil of truth and light. It reminds individuals who they are. It invites ones to release everything and anything and release what is holding them back from their fullest potential. So that's what Melissa's doing for you. So as you have it on the roof of your mouth, also take like a deep breath in. And release anything that's holding you back from your highest potential. The next one we're going to use is Blue Tansy, and you're going to have to be able to reach your toes. So take your shoes off. And who knows why we're putting it on our big toe. Hey, Mapu, I forgot. We were supposed to record for Yvette. Can you record? Oops.
Yeah, I'm recording.
Oh, you are awesome. Okay. Okay, so your toes are going to get smurfy because your toe is the reflex point for your brain, and Blue Tansy is the oil of inspired action. So it helps support those who resist taking action, resist changing or transforming their circumstances. It helps create inward mobility, and it helps with initiative to create inspired action. So like this is the oil of action. So with the Melissa, we're releasing what's holding us back. With the Blue Tansy, we're creating that inward motivation to be able to move forward. And this is one, like a lot of people, Emily just did it recently. You can do a 30-day challenge with your team, with yourself, with your customers, your family, friends, whoever, and put Blue Tansy on your toes, reflex point for your brain for 30 days. And kind of pay attention to over time how much easier it is for you to move into action. That's what Blue Tansy does. And then last,
so good.
It doesn't look good. We're going to use motivate. So take out your motivate and put a drop in the palm of your hand. And do your little oil inhaler. And then put this on the back of your neck. And motivate is the oil of motivation and encouragement. It fosters confidence to follow through with one's creative inspirations and intentions. So motivate is awesome for creativity. So with the three of these together, you can creatively move into inspired action without the tendency to hold yourself back. And so that's why we're using these before we do the vision boards. How do you guys feel after putting those three on? I see Lynn and Chantel. They're like happy over there. How are you guys feeling?
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're feeling good.
Feeling good? Awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, so get back to my notes. Where are we? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna move into the activity. So you guys have your poster boards, magazines, printouts, glue sticks, scissors, all the good stuff. Okay, so we're just gonna talk through, Ryan made his vision board already, kind of utilizing what he's gonna talk to you about. And we'll talk through some things, and you can, if you have all your supplies, you can start working. If you don't have everything with you already, you can just start writing down what you would think of to put on your vision board, and you can put these together later. So take it away, my dear.
Okay. So first, I'm going to start. I'm going to show you. Get this on here. My vision board. I don't know if you can read it from there or not.
You can read it to him.
Okay. Pictures. 1,000 words. Like one of the things I have that I'm gonna set this right next to my bed where I can, when I go to sleep at night, when I wake up in the morning, I'm looking at it, I'm reading what I have here. For example, I have today, be thankful and think how rich you are. Your family is priceless, your time is gold, and your health is wealth. So I found that I was really happy I came upon that because that's something that I'm really working on with the family. Another one here I have is I have arrived. I am home. My destination is in each step. Then whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you'll experience in your life. And I know that to be true. Also have on here, love your family, spend time, be kind, and serve one another. Make no room for regrets. Tomorrow's not promised, and today is short. So on here I have, I'll turn it around here again. I have a large sum of money because with that, it allows me to do the philanthropy work that I so enjoy doing now and that I can do further. I have tractor implements so I can keep playing outside like a big kid. A tree trimming thing that allow me to do 100 trees in 8 hours. It just helps limb everything up for fire season, things like that. So, and it keeps a healthy forest. And nice pretty beach to go vacation with my family. That's on there. So those are just some of the ideas that I have, or I did for myself. Yours will look however you would like it to look for you. What I encourage though is when I'm helping people with this is to dream big. I mentioned that before. I'm saying it again, is I'm going to help you with the psychology of why that is. So as you're gathering and looking through your magazines, I'd like for you not to limit yourself what other people might think that you should have or what you want, or where they think what you should be able to achieve. This is strictly for you. And that's really important as we're thinking about and dreaming about, because when we work on the hows and how to get to where we want to go, it's really important that it's something that is tied to our heart, because you're along for this journey of life. So you're going to be achieving these things, but as you're achieving them, it's best to keep your heart open so that you're able to actually receive back what you're putting out there to get these things. So that's pretty important.
Yeah, Joan put on there no judgment. Oh my
Exactly.
gosh, that is like so important. A lot of us were raised with so much judgment. And so that is the voice inside of our head. And to even consider doing a vision board at first felt wrong. The first year we did it, it was like, should we be doing this? Anybody else? So yes, release the judgment on what you want for your family, on what you want for your future, on what you want to achieve and attain. If you can take the judgment out of that and just come into this space, which we're going to do a little exercise in a second, is going to help you like open up and unlock that creative part of yourself.
Yes. So when that judgment comes in, who are we listening to? Who's that talking to us? Well, it's that inside of our heads is ourselves who we're listening to, and you wouldn't talk that way to anybody else, would you? So that's where the love part comes in, and really noticing when those thoughts come in, we become consciously aware of what we're saying, and does what we're saying and feeling, does it equal out to be what we're actually striving to go and do, that our heart's desires for. So it's best if we can line those two things up. And the best way to do that is to, one, take notice and love yourself enough to say, take it. I say it to myself is, I love you, Ryan. It's okay. No judgment, and really living in the now. We can't change the past. We can design a beautiful future. That's what this vision board is about. But it's about who we are each day, that we're lining up and creating this lifestyle or health style, or whatever it is that you're putting on your board. It's taking that each day and coming from a good place in your heart to attain those things. So I'll help you with, as we go through this, with the psychology and what you need to be doing each day to help you get there and make your road as smooth as possible.
We're gonna do the activity now.
Sure.
Okay. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is close your eyes. We're just gonna do a little centering. So close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths. And you probably still have a little motivate on your hands. And while you're breathing, take this time to set an intention of being in a space that's just for you, without the noise of the outside world, without the demands on your time, without the to-do list of unfinished things. Breathe, release, and let go. Okay, so number 1.
What's something that you always wanted to have? Let it be big. What's that one thing that it could be a car, it could be a trip, the size of your check, where you live, the size of your house, any one of those areas.
So this is one of those things that, and you can write it down, or you can start looking through. First, let's just write these down and then we'll all work on it at the same time. But this is that part that it's so where the judgment comes in. So a lot of times we are thinking about, we look through our life through somebody else's eyes. We hear somebody else's voice in our head. And so that limits or it shapes what we allow ourselves to think of. So without any of that, think of in these categories, like what are the things that you have always wanted that you don't have? And it could be a car, it could be a house, it could be the location of where your house is. It could be a dollar amount that you're making per month or per year. What is something that you've always wanted that you don't have? And if you guys have things you want to unmute or put in the chat, it helps inspire other people too that are thinking.
Hey, Beth.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll go. Because it's hard to write it in the chat, so maybe saying it out loud will be easier. So something I've always wanted is I have a little box that's a mirror and it's got diamonds on it, and I've always wanted to have $1,000 in there every month to just give away. So like when I'm at a store or something and I just see, like you just see the single mom who's like just trying so hard, or just maybe somebody in our congregation or just something. That's something I've always wanted, just have $1,000 a month of cash that just, it goes, to help somebody else.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Anybody else want to share?
I do know one thing with the vision boards is be very specific. When you ask for an abundance of something, it can come in another form if you're not specific as to what it is. And I actually last year put on my vision board to hit platinum in March of that year, and I did. Like, you see these things, but just be specific, because I've had things come that I didn't want, but it was there because I wasn't specific.
I've heard that too. I've had people say like something came in and they were like, oh, that's not exactly what I wanted. And when they go back and look, they're like, oh, well, it's kind of didn't really specify. So that's such a good point.
Thinking of today, I was thinking back to my first vision board that I ever made. And I wish I still had it. Maybe it's here somewhere, but I think it's gone. And I was remembering a few of the key pieces that were on there. And I was like, oh my gosh, they came true to the T. Like, one of them was a picture of my husband walking across a bridge holding my daughter's hand. And I just wanted him to have more time with my daughters. And then he was able to retire and he walked my second daughter to school every morning. Like, it was just like hand in hand, just that whole like perfect vision of that picture. And then just there were multiple other things on that board that as I was going back through, I'm like, oh my gosh, those came true to the T of exactly what I put on there. And I wish that I still had that board to just look back, with fondness. But you got to be specific, like she said, because I've done other ones where they were vague, or I thought it just kind of was like people pleasing, like what others would probably want to see on a vision board. And it was just, it never really happened.
Okay. So that was the first thing. So you're thinking of things that you've always wanted, and these can be just for you. It can be for others in your family. It can be for people in your community, but this is a space you can just be thinking of you, and it's okay. So remember that. Okay. Number 2.
It's also, we can focus on health. How is your health now? Where do you want to be? That's a fantastic goal to visualize onto your board. I know I did it for myself when I first did my first vision board. Ours was Beth bringing me home from my career, and we were going to move and be in a beautiful place, and we did all that. It happened. Then it was next year to have an excavator, and Beth had on their family vacation. We went to Australia and New Zealand and saw our team there. It's pretty cool to sit back, and that's something that is really good too, as you start seeing these things come in, and having that grace in your heart and be truly grateful for these things, because you'll take, as I say, fill your cup. You'll be fueled to continue down this journey that you're on.
So with the second one, we're focusing on your health because we are in health and wellness, and we don't want that to fall to the wayside as we're pursuing goals. So it's really good to have a health intention for the year. So what would that be? Do you want to get healthier in one area of your life? Is there a part of your body you need to work on? Is there a type of exercise that you've always wanted to try, or a type of exercise that you love, but you don't get to do enough? Do you want to go on a retreat somewhere and do yoga in Costa Rica? Like whatever it is for you, but what is something that you want to put as a goal for 2024 in regards to your health? And if anybody wants to share, of course, you're welcome.
I'll share a little bit.
Okay.
I want to get to a point where I incorporate self-care more on a daily basis, because I'm lucky I do it on a weekly basis. And it definitely affects my health. And whenever I do this, I cry. Just doing vision boards, and I love you both so much. And whenever I talk to you both, I end up crying, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I promise. But it's just that I dig deeper, and I don't like what I see when I dig deeper, and that bothers me. And I want to get to a point where I like what I see when I dig deeper. And that's part of my health goal, because I know I will feel much better inside when I can go deeper and like what I see. And that's what I want to achieve this year or next year.
Well, we love you too. And as we go through this, as we get towards the back part of this, I'm going to help you guys with the psychology and how that you're going to achieve these things that you're putting down there, because, you know, we can get in our own way. Having that mindset of how to get there has been one of the biggest things I've worked on for the last 12 years of myself, is understanding how we were created, how we're made, and communicating to myself, and actually understanding how to do these things without having all the burden and guilt, or what it should look like, or what we should feel like. And I'm going to help you with that coming up here.
So as you're thinking about health too, like you just made me think of it, Lisa, if you could, it could be a certain amount of days per week you want to be doing this activity, or days per month. Like you can get really specific. And how this is going to help is these boards aren't going under your beds. They're going in a place that you're going to see them. And when you see them, it triggers your mind to have them happen. So get specific on there with some kind of self-care, some kind of fitness, health, whatever it is, routine that you want to incorporate for next year. Are we done with 3?
Sure.
Okay, so the next one, because we're in business and because we want to do big things, we're going to talk about money for a second. So money, I love David Sterling will always stick in my head when he said at leadership that good people with a lot of money can do really great things. And so that's another block that a lot of times we inherit from childhood, from previous generations, is how they feel about money and people who made money. And maybe we heard things like, you know, in order to have a lot of money, you had to step on people to get there, or big people or rich people only care about themselves. That can be true, but money is a magnifier. That's what it is. So if you're a good person with great intentions, all it does is allow you to do more. And that's one of the things I love about doTERRA. It is such a good company. I mean, the way our compensation plan is set up, it is to attract people that are in this to do good things. And they have always spoken from stage of living within your means and always saving some to the side to give, and make sure that we're thinking of others as we're on this journey. And so as you're thinking about money, again, we talked about being specific. So it's good to put down, like, what is your goal for next year? So in 2024, think about how much you're making now and how much you want to be making. And you can put down an amount that is good for the whole year, or you can put down something per month, but get specific with what kind of income you'd like to create and push yourself a little bit. Like, we have a whole year. So think about where you want to go and write that down. And after you have that amount, then you're going to write down, what would you do with that money? Like, hopefully you put a good amount on there, and what is one good thing you want to do with that money? It can be, again, like on my board, one year was take my family on vacation somewhere. And then other years it's been to do things for others. Like, one of my goals one year was every month I could give away oils to a family that really needed them and couldn't afford it. And we did that. And so you can think about, with this income, what is something that you want to do with that money? So with that information, we're going to take probably like 15 minutes and start working on our boards.
And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to just ask.
Beth and Ryan, can I make something? Can I tell you something about what I'm doing with my vision board?
Please.
Absolutely.
So I've I have all of my old vision boards still.
Awesome.
I love this. Now what I do is I have moved into the virtual vision board.
Mhm.
And if anyone has a iPhone, in your albums, I've put all the things I want to manifest for this year in one album. And in the top right corner of that album, you can play a slideshow or play a video, and it has like this they always have lovely music that they add to it, and you can watch this video in the morning and in the evening before you go to sleep. Well, you really shouldn't be on any electronics before bed, but you know, so it's like in the back of your subconscious in the morning and in the evening. I don't know.
That's so
If you want to take it to the next level.
right. We have all these options. I saw in the chat Canva. Yes, I've used Canva for vision boards. Yes, there's so many ways we can do them now.
Yeah. I love it. Ooh, let me make sure that
And Cassie just shared she's using Pinterest for quotes and inspiration. And yes, quotes are like my fave. So definitely pick out some inspiring quotes for 2024. Yes, Cassie. So one of the things you're thinking about is one thing you've always wanted but have never had. And your health. What is an area of your health you want to focus on? And a money goal. And then what you want to do with that money. Okay, we're gonna give you guys like 3 more minutes. I know you're not gonna be done, but this will at least get you started and then you can finish when we're through. Okay, so how are you guys feeling? Do you feel like you've got a good start on these? Cool. I just wanted to show you a couple things that I found is that because I'm a tactile person, so I get magazines and I flip through them. And can you find that one? And one of the things that I found in this magazine made me think of Lisa. You guys see that? So Lisa girl, this is for you. The other thing that I love to do is with the magazines, I flip through and I find words that just seem to pop out of the page and stand out to me. And I'll cut them out and put them on my board. And even if it's not a word I would normally think of using, it's crazy how many times that year you end up seeing it, or it ends up like playing a part in your life. It's just kind of cool. So if you guys have magazines and you want to do that. The other thing, I got these little books from the dollar store, you guys, and they have a ton of quotes in them. And as we were looking through there was this one. Can you guys read that? And it said, the way we talk to our children becomes their inner voice. So I thought that was so interesting because one, we were talking about our inner voice, which a lot of times comes from our parents, and it's not their fault. Like they do the best they can with the information they had at the time. But it becomes their programming. And then for our children, we become their programming. And so that's why doing things like this are actually so essential. And we've done them with our kids. That was one of the things that we wanted to talk to you guys about is after you've done this for yourself, you can do a family board, or you can, everybody in the family can make their own board. So the first time we did a family board because the boys were like, this is kind of weird. What are we doing? And they weren't like super into it, but they did like picking out something that was just for them that could go on the board. And then a lot of those things came true. And so the next year we were like, does everybody want to do their own board? And they're like, yeah, I want my own board, because they wanted all the space that they could put on stuff for them. So it can develop, but again, like, this is cool. This is going to start to become their voice instead of maybe some things that we said that we wish we didn't say, because sometimes doesn't like stuff come out of your mouth that you're like, I don't even feel that way, but it's just like how we were talked to. And so it's like an automatic response. And we're like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that because I don't feel that way. And I don't want them to think that way. And this is such an intentional project to do with them, to tell them how you really feel and show them how you really feel and help them create their own thoughts. And so that's what I love about all this. That's so fun. Okay, so Ryan's going to talk to you about things that you can do with these boards to help magnify their effect.
Okay. Does everybody have a pen and paper? Okay. So what we're going to be talking about is, it's great that we have this goal set. It's going to be somewhere that you see it. And I'm going to walk you through how you actually achieve these things. And you do it in a way that connects your heart and your mind so that you're receiving back everything that you're putting out, so that it's a much more enjoyable journey and it doesn't have to be a painful one to get there. Okay. So what you can do is write down your goals. So you have them on there. Also write it down. Write it down on a piece of paper. Then you're going to write down how you're going to achieve it. Read it. Follow it with your finger. Morning, noon, and before bed. And then when you look back at your vision board, imagine that it's already taken place. And what this does, our brains will go out and it will start working on all these things. And as you're seeing it, it's visual. And if you're taking it as if it already has happened, it's like the placebo effect, right? So your body doesn't know the difference. So you're creating these things, and you're going to find a way to make these things possible. Write down what you'd have to believe about yourself in order to achieve this. So like when those negative thoughts come in, they can get loud, especially as you start pursuing something that's you thought was far-fetched. It's gonna like, I'm not worth it, or this is just too hard. Those are the stop moments when you can really take inventory, stop, take those 5 deep breaths, and really bring that love back into yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself. It's something that we're not really taught to do, but it puts us back into a better state of mind, one that doesn't have the judgment involved in it, and So this is also where you can see, like, I've gone down this road for several weeks now and I'm just beating my head against the wall. Well, stop, take inventory. What have I learned? Well, maybe learn that that wasn't the right direction, or maybe you need to switch over 2 feet to the right or 2 feet to your left. You know, this is a journey to get to where you want to go. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to be so fixated and keep your head down running in the sand, pounding your head against the wall, because it's not, you're not getting there. Just love yourself, take inventory, make the proper adjustment, and really, again, no judgment. There's nobody else in that head of yours except for you. Yeah, it's what you heard, but that person's not talking to you that way anymore. It's just what you have in your head. So no judgment, just love. Okay. Next is, now that you have these things written out and you're going to be reading them and following it and looking at it and feeling it, if you can do this each night before you go to bed, choose one of those things that you've, remember, we're telling our brain and feeling it in our body, we've already received these things, but write down 3 things that can help you receive one of those things on your board, and make one of them an absolute must, a priority. Tomorrow you have to do it. Do that each night before you go to bed, and while you're sleeping, your supercomputer, your subconscious mind, while your conscious is asleep, will start working on how it's going to achieve what you're putting on that piece of paper. And knowing that you have the vision already and you tie it all together, it's going to make that journey that you're going on to becoming this person and taking these things in so much more enjoyable. These aren't hard things. The only thing that gets hard is when we get in our own way. So if you miss a moment or time or whatever it is, there is no judgment. For each day is its own, is for a reason. We can't live in the past. We're designing a beautiful picture, but we're living now. And these are the things that you can do now that are going to help you achieve that goal that you put on that board.
So the reason these 3 things is so important is there's so much stuff on our list. Like if we wrote out our list each day, how long would they be? And we have a tendency to do the things that don't actually move the needle. We do the things that are easy, and by easy, I mean comfortable. So we do the things that we're most comfortable doing first, and that typically doesn't grow us and it doesn't get us towards our goals. We'll do the busy work. Takes a lot of time, could be done by somebody else, probably doesn't get you towards your goals. So when you intentionally spend the time before you go to bed writing down those 3 things, and one of them is like a must for tomorrow, hopefully all 3, but you make one like non-negotiable. Think of you if you actually did one very important thing to move you towards your goals every single day, and how often weeks and weeks go by that we don't do anything that actually moves us towards our goals. We're doing busy work, we're doing stuff for other people, and time is just flying by and we're not getting to where we want to be. And then we're frustrated because we're stuck and we feel like we're in the same spot. Well, we are, because we're just doing the same things. So when you look at your board and you think about where you want to be, and then you think about what is the step that I need to take tomorrow to help me get there, and it's done, you're actually moving closer towards these things, and you have the percentage goes through the roof of how much more you're going to accomplish than not doing these things.
And I got to tell you, for my own personal journey, this is my favorite subject. I've been working the last 12 years on my mind and how to achieve things that I never thought possible, but it's my favorite thing to teach. So if you have questions, please ask. Or along down this journey, if you have questions, please ask. It's, like I said, it's my hobby. It's my favorite thing to do. Smile. Don't forget to smile. Because this is who you're becoming. This is you. This is everything that you wanted. You have the roadmap now. and enjoy that journey, because it can be a really, really exciting, fun time. And like Dr. Hannah mentioned, she still has her old boards. That's awesome, because it lets you know where you came from, that the things that you thought weren't possible that you achieved are actually possible. And that part where I mentioned, like removing the pain from it, it doesn't have to be painful to get there. That's that self-love and that self-talk and getting there. It's super important. That no judgment part Joe mentioned, that's absolutely 1,000,000%. No judgment. There's nobody else judging you but you. So love yourself instead. It'll be the best gift you ever gave to yourself.
Okay, so let me find my list here. Okay, Melissa was going to share something with you guys, and it's so timely because we're coming into the end of the year and there's a lot of activity that starts happening. And so Melissa wanted to share some tips with you on having a successful end of your year.
So I was listening to a podcast by Ed Milet, and I don't know if any of you listen to any of his podcasts, but he's really, really good. And I came across one. I will grab it and put it in the chat. Unless, Beth, do you have access to that link that I sent you? Would you be able to add it to the chat? Okay. So he talked about the next 2 weeks and separating yourself. And he talks about separating yourself from your old self, separating yourself from other people, just really taking the next few weeks in between the holidays, because all of us, whether we celebrate the holidays or not, can have a tendency to go into that relaxed mode of, okay, everybody's busy, you know, everybody else is taking time off work, or everybody else is cutting out of work early on Fridays, or just kind of like cutting a lot of slack for ourselves. And he talked about now's the time to amp up your speed and still take your, like, I loved what he said for those that celebrate holidays, or even those of us that don't, that holiday, not month, you know, like, so don't take a whole month off. Just designate your times for refreshing, for being with your family, but don't let off the gas of your business. And whatever you do now, you're going to see in January, especially. So yes, you're going to see immediate sales and things like that, but you're going to find that the momentum is really going to show up in January and February by what you do or don't do right now. So if you lay off the gas, you're going to find you're going to have a hard January, and then you're going to feel even more defeated or a little bit maybe sluggish or lazy. So I really appreciated that. So it's a quick listen to. I think it's like 26 minutes. You don't even have to take notes. So you can do it while you're driving or whatever, but found this podcast to be really, really good.
Thank you. I haven't heard him say that. You know, there is no holiday month. It's a holiday. That's funny. Okay. So one of the things that I want to leave you with, talking about creating momentum, we have studies coming up in January. And like I put in one of our chats, like we're going to be seeing people the rest of this year. And if the one thing you did was get 5 people into the next study, you would be starting off January with momentum. And here's why. We do a survey every study, and I think it's 94% like success rate over a year and a half of people that said they would invite friends to a future study. So your 5 people that you get there, if they invite 1 or 2 people to the next round, now you're at 10 or 15 people come February. And they can build on them if we do the work and we actually like don't lazily invite, and we take care of these people while we're in the study, right? It's not a lot of work. It just takes some consistency, but we have it coming up and you've got a ton of time to invite. Literally, you have probably 5 weeks. So you could find 1 person a week to get some free product for a week who hasn't tried doTERRA before and wants to try it in one of those 3 areas. We've got the walkthrough of how the study works if you haven't done it before. So there's no hardness in joining. You just have to learn how to do it. And once you do it, we do the same thing every time. So that's coming up. So I want to encourage you to get your 5 people inside of there. And then we're going to do a raffle tonight and then a giveaway inside of the group. So tonight I'm going to give away Motivate. And then if you post your completed board in Oil Mavens, I'm going to be raffling off Blue Tansy and Melissa. for those that complete their boards and post them. Okay. So a little incentive to get them finished so you don't stop here. And what we did tonight was the bones. This is like the bones of your board, but you can add to it flair, you know, you can put extra stuff, more quotes, stickers, more dream places you want to go on vacation. You don't have to limit it to these areas, but these are like core areas that we want to make sure you have on there. And then anything else that you want to put on the board, if you want to get a new pet, if you want a horse, if you want to go horseback riding, if you want to take your kids, you know, whatever, you want to put your kids in soccer lessons, whatever it is, there's a lot of room on that board. But we just wanted to give you some of the areas that we think are important to make sure that they get on there, because we want you to be healthy. We want you to be successful. We want you to have something you've never had before and to have a dream of doing something with that money that can benefit the world, because that is why we do what we do. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to have Lisa pick a number between 3 and 19.
7.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jennifer Eads, you have won Motivate. So make sure you give me your address so I can send that out to you. Congratulations. Yes. And then if does anybody want to share any kind of experience? It can be from a previous vision board that you've done. It can be from tonight, like maybe something clicked for you that you hadn't thought about before. We'll leave just a couple minutes for that. Jenny?
It was kind of funny. It was some time back where I was looking at old pictures and I saw in my old room when I was back in high school, I had this picture of the Eiffel Tower. And so fast forward some years, I actually got to go to Paris when I was in college. And so it just kind of like was almost like an aha moment for me, like that was like a vision board without being a vision board, because I would see that, picture of the Eiffel Tower every single day. And then it actually came to fruition. So that was kind of cool.
Thank you. Okay, Joni?
Yeah, I was just going to say, okay, so we're doing these at the end of the year. And I was here, let me just grab mine real quick. So what I did at the beginning of next year, some things may change, right? We're going to leadership at the end of February, incentive trips being announced, that some things change. So like at the beginning of this year, Reclaim Your Health events were announced. The founders point system kind of changed for a few months. And so this is something that can be flexible. And so what I did, mine's a crazy mess, but what I did was I would put a note, like this is a cheesy one, but I just put Reclaim Your Health. Like, okay, this is something that's happening. Reclaim Your Health. It's getting stuck on my vision board. Okay, founders points are changing. I made a picture of myself hitting founders, like as if I had already gotten there, and I stuck that on top. Like we aren't stuck with what we create today or this month. This is ever evolving, and as things start to change in the spring and in the summer, just keep adding to it as life changes and as your goals change.
Oh, I love
Absolutely.
that. That's so cool. Isn't that fun, you guys? Oh, so good and so true. Anybody else? You're good. Okay. Well, thank you for spending this time with us. Hope it was helpful. Have fun doing these boards, and then show them to your family. That is one of the things, as you're going for these big things. We know it does take time, but that was one of the ways I got buy-in from my family when the first time I did it, because I was gone a lot. I mean, everything we did was in person back then. So I taught classes every weekend for 1.5 years, you guys, no joke. So there was no Saturday I was off for 1.5 years because we were just doing stuff, and they'd see me leaving again and then coming home and help me pack the car to leave again. And when I made the board and I showed them, like, you guys, this is why I'm doing this. It was so that we can go, I wanted to take them to Bethel. So that was like one of the very first things that I did with hitting silver. And that was on there, and different, I took them to Disneyland when we hit Diamond and stayed at the Disneyland hotel because we'd never done that before. So that was on the board. Once they saw that, like, what the work that I was putting in, like that they were going to benefit from it too. I mean, they're kids, like that's their whole world, right? Like, how is this to me? Then they were like, oh, let's help mom pack the car. If she gets to Diamond, we're going to the Disneyland hotel. So it works. So just have fun with these. It works with spouses. I've had wives put, you know, motorcycles on there for their husbands, get their attention real quick if that's their thing. And then you'll be surprised how much they're like, when's your next class, honey? What are you doing this month? Doing boots? What are you doing? Okay. Thank you so much. We had fun doing this with you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Beth and Brian.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I'm so quiet. I was very focused.
That's good.
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's boards in Facebook. It'll be exciting to see who wins those oils.
Right on, right on. All right,
Yeah,
you guys have a
thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you so much. You guys totally made, like, I totally changed my vision board plan because I had a plan and I had things, but you made me cry. But
That's good.
you
Most of
made
them
me
are.
see, you made me see bigger and better. And I thank you for that. And I love you both so much.
Big hug.
Big, big hugs your way.
Big hugs, huge hugs.
Baby.
Mwah, I love you. I can't wait to see you and hug you in person.
Can't
Thank
wait.
you.
Bye, you guys.